I'm going to be reading from the book of Numbers. The book of Numbers, chapter 16 through 19. Book of Numbers, chapter 16 through 19. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. The book of Numbers, chapter 16, verse 1. And Korah, son of Yeshar, son of Kehath, son of Lewi, took both Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliam, and On, son of Peleth, son of Reuben. Verse 2. And they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting, men of name. So here we go again. People rising up against Moses. They didn't learn, you know, they didn't learn from his own siblings rising up against him. And, now they're rising up against him. Verse 3. And they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron and said to them, enough of you, for all the congregation is set apart, all of them, and Yahuwah is in their midst. Why then do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of Yahuwah? So here we go. We got, we got questioning, where, we got the children of Israel questioning the position of Moshe and Aaron. Again, as if the Most High didn't demonstrate to them that Moses was special, Aaron was special as well. These are his. Moses is his main man at the time, and he had to prove that, like in the previous chapter, in chapter 15, where Aaron and his sister, Miriam, tried to rise up against him. And what happened to her, she got turned to a leprous. Now we got, another group coming along and questioning, the exclusiveness of Moses, in his position. Let's see how this worked out. Verse 4. And when Moses heard, he fell on his face. It's, because Moses is humble. Moses knows what's going to happen next. From people questioning him, it's not what he wants. It's the Most High and how Most High set it up and how the Most High wanted to be. So Moses knows that there's, what's coming to these people for doing this. Verse 5. And verse 4, when Moses heard, he fell on his face. Verse 5, and spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, tomorrow morning Yahuwah shall make known who is his and who is set apart, and bring him near to him, and let him bring near to him the one whom he chooses. So here we go again. We're going to, the Most High have to demonstrate and prove who that Moses is his. We're going to see verse 6. Do this. Take fire holders, Korah, and all your company. Verse 7. And put fire in them and put incense in them before Yahuwah tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom Yahuwah chooses is the set apart one. Enough of you, sons of Lewi. So this was the sons of Levi that he was speaking to. Verse 8. And Moshe said to Korah, hear now, you sons of Levi. Verse 9. Is it little to you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself to perform the service of the dwelling place of Yahuwah and to stand before the congregation to serve them? Verse 10. And that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you. Yet you seek the priesthood as well. So there's a clear difference between the Levites and the priesthood. And if you didn't know that, you know now. You know, because it appears to be that the sons of Levi, you know, Elohim of Israel has separated them from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, bring them near to himself to perform the service of the dwelling place of Yahuwah and to stand before the congregation to serve them. So that's all their duty was to do, is serve in the dwelling place of Yahuwah and to stand before the congregation to serve them. They weren't to be priests of the priesthood. And I don't know if you I don't remember knowing that. This clarifies it to me because I always thought that the Levites was like the priesthood, the line of the priesthood. But obviously, no, it's the sons of Aaron is the line of the priesthood. And the sons of Levi were just to carry out the duties in the set apart place and serve the congregation. So this was key. This is key right here. Verse 11, therefore you and all your company are set against Yahuwah, and Aaron, what is he that you grumble against him? Verse 12, and Moshe sent to all Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, we are not coming up. Wow. So they were in their feelings, man. They felt like enough was enough. They wanted to be priests. They wanted to be part of the priesthood. They didn't just want to serve. Verse 13, is it little that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to unalive us in the wilderness, that you would also seize total rule over us? Verse 14, also, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyard. Would you bore out the eyes of these men? We are not coming up. Yeah, they were fed up. Verse 15, and Moshe became very displeased and said to Yahuwah, do not respect their offering. Now they got Moses out of his character. Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. Verse 16, then Moshe said to Korah, tomorrow you and all your company shall be there before Yahuwah, you and they and Aaron. Verse 17, and take each one his fire holder, and you shall put incense in it, and let each one bring his fire holder before Yahuwah, 250 fire holders. And you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. Verse 18, so each one took his fire holder and put fire in it and laid incense on it and stood at the door of the tent of appointment with Moshe and Aaron. Verse 19, and Korah assembled all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of appointment. Then the steam of Yahuwah appeared to all the congregation. Verse 20, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Verse 21, separate yourselves from the midst of this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. Here we go. Here we go. Verse 22, but they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, the spirits of all flesh, the spirits of all flesh. Do you see that? All throughout the scriptures, you see little hints that there are spirits we're spirit beings within this flesh. We're spirit beings within this flesh. And here's another one. Here's another indication where Moses and Aaron is pleading the Most High and identify him as the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh. But they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim, Elohim of the spirits of all flesh. When one man sins, are you rough with all the congregation? So they asking him, like, don't take it out on everybody. Verse 23, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe saying, verse 24, speak to the congregation saying, move away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So he considered, their plea and basically like, yeah, all right, well, y'all get away from just these three people. Verse 25, so Moshe rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. Verse 26, and he spoke to the congregation saying, please turn away from the tent of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So this is what I'm speaking to the people. Verse 27, then they moved away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives and their sons and their little children. Verse 28, and Moshe said, by this you know that Yahuwah has sent me to do all these works. So you got to make an example just to prove like that the Most High sent Moshe to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart, that they are not from my own heart. So this is pretty much what they was like, they were thinking that this was his own doing, that this was Moses' own doing, and this was him doing it on his own, and, him doing it out of the, I don't know, out of, his own ego or whatever they thought. But this is what Moses like, man, by this you know that Yahuwah has sent me to do all these works, and they are not from my own heart. Verse 29. If these die as all men do, or if they are visited as all men are visited, then Yahuwah has not sent me. Verse 30, but if Yahuwah creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive in the Sheol, then you shall know that these men have scorned Yahuwah. So he's letting people know before this happened, what's about to happen, he's letting them know what, if it goes down like this, then you know that the Most High was responsible. Verse 31, and it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart. Verse 32, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, and all the men with Korah and with all their goods. Verse 33, so they and all those with them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. Could you imagine the ground opening up and consuming you know, a group of people before your eyes. Verse 34, and Israel and all Israel who were around about them fled at their cry. All Israel who were around about them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up. So people witnessed it and didn't just sit there, normal, like that was normal. They seen it and they went running for their lives because they thought they were next. This just gives you, this just shows you how credible this reading is, because it's like it's not just saying it happened and people just went about their day and just chilling. No, people responded like we would respond today, running for our lives. What did we just see? Like, what did we just see? We just watched the earth opened up and swallow a group of people and close back up. If we seen that today, we will be running for our lives too. We will be traumatized and we will be losing our losing our yeah, you know what? Verse 35. And a fire came out from Yahuwah and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. So it wasn't done there. So not only did he swallow them up but through the earth, but fire came from Yahuwah and consumed 250 men offering incense. Verse 36, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, verse 37, say to Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to pick up the fire holder out of the blaze, for they are set apart, and scatter the fire some distance away. Verse 38, the fire holder of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the slaughter place, because they brought them before Yahuwah. Therefore they are set apart, and let them become a sign to the children of Israel. Verse 39, Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire holder, which those who were burnt up had brought, and they were beaten out as a covering on the slaughter place. Verse 40, a remembrance to the children of Israel that no stranger who is not of the seed of Aaron shall come near to offer incense before Yahuwah, and not to be like Korah and his company. And Yahuwah has said to him through Moshe. Verse 41. But all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, You have unalived the people of Yahuwah. So now their people are blaming them for, this event. Verse 42, and it came to be when the congregation assembled against Moshe, wow, Aaron, Moshe, and against Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of appointment, and see, the cloud covered it, and the steam of Yahuwah appeared. Verse 43, and Moshe and Aaron came before the tent of appointment. Verse 44, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, verse 25, arise from amidst the congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. Here we go again. See, Moses and Aaron fell on their faces again, pleading for the people not to be consumed. Verse 46. So Moshe said to Aaron, take the fire holder and put fire in it from the slaughter place and lay incense on it, and go hurry to the congregation and make atonement. That's how humble Moses was. Instead of allowing the Most High to consume them, he asked Aaron to make atonement for these people. For wrath has gone out from Yahuwah, the plague has begun. Verse 47, and Aaron took it as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. And he laid on the incense and made atonement for them, for the people. Verse 48, and stood between the unalive and the living, and the plague was stopped. Verse 49, and those who was unalive in the plague were 14,700, besides those who were unalive on account of Korah. Verse 50, then Aaron returned to Moshe at the door of the tent of appointment, for the plague had stopped. Chapter 17, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, verse 2, speak to the children of Israel and take from them a rod from each father's house, all their leaders according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod. Verse 3, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For there is one rod for the head of each father's house. Verse 4, you shall then place them in the tent of appointment before the witness where I meet with you. Verse 5, and it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumbling of the children of Israel, which they grumble against you. Verse 6, and Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all their leaders gave him a rod each, for each leader according to their father's house, 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. Verse 7, so Moshe placed the rods before Yahuwah in the tent of witness. Verse 8, and it came to be on the next day that Moshe went into the tent of the witness and saw that the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had budded and brought forth buds and blossomed and bore ripe almonds. Isn't that nice? Verse 9. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before Yahuwah to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. Verse 10. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, bring Aaron's rod back before the witness to be kept as a sign against the rebels, so that you put an end to their grumblings against me, lest they be unalive. Verse 11, and Moshe did as Yahuwah had commanded him, so he did. Verse 12, and the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, see, we shall be unalive, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Verse 13, anyone who comes near the dwelling place of Yahuwah is unalive. Shall we be consumed to be unalive? So now they started questioning coming near the dwelling place. Chapter 18, verse 1. And Yahuwah said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you are to bear the crookedness against the set apart place, and you and your sons with you are to bear the crookedness against your priesthood. Verse 2, but bring with you your brothers of the tribe of Levi too. The tribe of your father to join you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tent of the witness. Verse 3, and they shall guard your charge and the duty of all the tent, but they do not come near the furnishings of the set apart place and the slaughter place, lest they be unalive, both they and you. Verse 4, and they shall be joined with you and guard the duty of the tent of appointment for all the service of the tent, but a stranger does not come near you. Verse 5, and you shall guard the duty of the set apart place and the duty of the set apart place, so that there be no more wrath on the children of Israel. Verse 6, and see, I myself has taken your brothers, the Levites, from the midst of the children of Israel, a gift to you, given by Yahuwah to do the service of the tent of appointment. Verse 7. But you and your sons with you are to guard your priesthood for all matters at the slaughter place and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I have given you the priesthood as a gift for service. But the stranger who comes near is to be unalive. Verse 8. And Yahuwah spoke to Aaron, and see, I myself have also given you the charge of my contributions. All the set apart gifts of the children of Israel, I have given them to you for the anointing and your sons as a law forever. Verse 9, this is yours of the most set apart gifts from the fire, all the offerings, all the grain offerings, and all their sin offerings, and all the guilt offerings which they rendered to me are most set apart for you and your sons. Verse 10, eat it in the most set apart place. Every male eats it, it is set apart to you. So it's always been food. Offerings have always been food. You know, the gift, the offering, it's always been food, and that never changed. And that's, and the Messiah had to come along and, remind people that we're not to accept nothing but food. When you're doing the work of the harvest and you're sharing the good news of the kingdom coming, and you're sharing, the instructions on how to repent and turn back to the instructions, you know, all you're to ask is for food. All you're to accept is food, not money. All you're to accept is food, not gifts and someone to pay you for your building and utilities and any of that. Verse 11, this also is yours, the contribution of their gift with all the wave offering of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and your sons and your daughters with you as a law forever. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it. Eats it. Verse 12, all the best of the oil and all the best of the new wine and the grain, the first fruits which they give to Yahuwah, I have given them to you. So this was always food. The offerings was always food. Oil, grain. Verse 13, the first fruits of all that is in their land which they bring to Yahuwah are yours. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it, eats it, eats it. It was something to be eating, you know? It was something to be eaten. It ain't for everybody to know what I'm saying, but those who know, that the offering was always food. The tithe was always food. The gift was always food. Some form of something to be consumed, not money. It wasn't money. It wasn't gold. It wasn't silver to be collected. It wasn't, to this day, money to be put on your Cash App or put into your Venmo. Verse 14, all that is dedicated in Israel is yours. All that is dedicated in Israel is yours. And this was then. This is the book of Numbers. He's describing the priesthood, the children of Aaron. and what was due to them. Everything that was offered to God was theirs to eat. Verse 15, everyone opening a womb of all flesh which they bring to Yahuwah, whether man or beast, is yours. And that's where it gets interesting as well. But to ransom, you shall ransom the firstborn of a man, and the firstborn of the unclean beast you ransom. Verse 16, and ransom their ransom ones when one new moon old, according to your valuation, 5 shekels of silver. According to the shekel of the set apart place, which is 20 gerahs. Verse 17, but the firstborn of a cow or the firstborn of a sheep or the firstborn of a goat, you do not ransom. They are set apart. Sprinkle their blood on the slaughter place and burn their fat as the offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. Verse 18, their flesh is yours as the wave breast and as the right thigh. It is yours. Verse 19, all the contributions of the set apart gifts which the children of Israel present to Yahuwah, I have given to you and your sons and your daughters. With you as a law forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before Yahuwah, with you and your seed with you. Verse 20, and Yahuwah said to Aaron, you are not to have an inheritance in their land, nor have any portion in their midst. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. Verse 21, and see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes. I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. Verse 22, and let the children of Israel no more come near the tent of appointment, lest they bear sin and be unalive. Verse 23, because the Levites shall do the service of the tent of appointment. So they themselves bear their crookedness, a law forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they are to have no inheritance. Verse 24, but the tithes of the children of Israel, which they present as a contribution to Yahuwah, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel, they have no inheritance. Verse 25, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe. One second. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, verse 26, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them as your inheritance, then you should present a contribution of it to Yahuwah. a tenth of the tenth, a tenth of the tithe. Verse 27, and your contribution shall be reckoned to you as a grain from the threshing floor, and as a filling from the winepress. Notice this is grain and this is wine. Verse 28, thus you also present a contribution to Yahuwah from all your tithes, which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give from it the contribution to Yahuwah to Aaron the priest. So their tenth goes to Aaron and the priest. Verse 29, from all your gifts you present every contribution due to Yahuwah, from all the best of them to the set apart of them. Verse 30, and you shall say to them when you have presented the best of it, then the rest shall be reckoned to the Levites as the yield of the threshing floor and as the yield of the winepress. Verse 31, and you shall eat it, and you shall eat it in any place, you and your household, and for it is your reward for your service in the tent of the appointment. So this was to be eating. This was to be eaten. So even the tithe was to eat. It was something to eat. It was always something to eat. Verse 32, and bear no sin because of it when you have presented the best of it, and do not profane the set apart gifts of the children of Israel, lest you be unalive. Chapter 19, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, this is a law of Torah which Yahuwah has commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer, a perfect one, in which there is no blemish, and on it which yoke has never come. Verse 3, and you shall give it to Eleazar the priest, and he shall bring it outside the camp, and shall slay it before him. Verse 4, and Eleazar the priest shall take some of the blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times toward the front of the tent of appointment. Verse 5, and their heifer shall be burnt before his eyes. He burns its hides and his flesh and its blood and its dung. Verse 6, and the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and throw them into the midst of their burning the heifer. Verse 7, the priest shall then wash his garments and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward come into the camp, but the priest is unclean until evening. Verse 8, and he who is burning it washes his garment in water and shall bathe his body in water and is unclean until evening. Verse 9, and the clean man shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and shall place them outside the camp in a clean place, and they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for the water, for uncleanliness. It is for cleansing sins. It's for cleansing sins. This is what this was for. Verse 10, and he who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his garments and is unclean until evening, and this shall be a law forever to the children of Israel and to the stranger who sojourns in the midst. Verse 11, he who touches the unalive of any human being is unclean for 7 days. Verse 12, and he is to cleanse himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he is cleansed. But if he does not cleanse himself on the 3rd day, then on the 7th day he is not clean. Verse 13, anyone who touches the unalive of a human being and does not cleanse himself defiles the dwelling place of Yahuwah, and that being shall be cut off from Yisrael. He is unclean, for the water for uncleanliness was not sprinkled on him. His uncleanliness is still upon him. Verse 14. This is the Torah when a man unalive in a tent. All who come into the tent and all who are in the tent are unclean for 7 days. Verse 15, every open vessel which has no cover fastened on it is unclean. Verse 16, anyone in open field who touches someone slain by the sword, or who has unalive or a bone of a man or a burial site, is unclean for 7 days. Verse 17, and for the unclean being shall take some of the ashes of the heifer burnt for cleansing from sin, and running water, and shall be put on them in a vessel. Verse 18, and a clean man shall take a hyssop and dip it in the water, and shall sprinkle it on the tent, and on all the vessels, and on all the beings who were there, and on who touch a bone, or the slain, or the dead, or the burial site. Verse 19, and the clean one shall sprinkle the unclean of the 3rd day and the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall cleanse himself, and shall wash his garment, and bathe in water, and shall be clean in the evening. Verse 20, but the man who is unclean does not cleanse himself, that being shall be cut off from among the assembly, because he has defiled the set apart place of Yahuwah. Water for uncleanliness has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. Verse 21, and it shall be a law for them forever. And the ones who sprinkle the water for uncleanness washes his garments, and the one who touches the water for uncleanness is unclean until evening. Verse 22, and whatever the unclean being touches is unclean, and the being who touches it is unclean until evening. That completes this reading of the book of Numbers, chapter 16 through 19. I'm going to close this live out and open another live reading from the prophets. Y'all willing, you're able to, to join. If not, I appreciate your patience. Till next time, peace, love, Shabbat shalom, love, and peace.